Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Blaydes versus Lewis. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the prelims and our first fight on the card. So in our first fight, we have in the featherweight division, Rafael Alves versus Pat Sabatini. So I'm looking at this fight right here. You got two well-rounded guys, two guys with some high-level BJJ, two guys with some real-rounded skill set. Roughly around the same height, roughly around the same reach. Alves has more experience, but he also has more losses, nearly double digits. Sabatini only has 3 losses, but Alves has far more experience. I think he's the better striker, packs more power, the more filled out fighter physically. Definitely not so much taller or so much longer. That's not what I'm looking at, but physically he's the thicker fighter, packs more power, better grappler, and he's the one on a streaking right now where Sabatini's trying to, build up a streak. Like I was like on a 9-fight or so winning streak, 5 or 6, 7, on a longer win streak, more fights, more experience. I think he's just better in every area in this one. So I feel like he can lead the dance in the striking and the grappling. And this control this one from start to finish. I don't think he puts Sabatini away because they're both evenly matched. It's just that Alves, in my opinion, in every area has the edge on him in every area. So I think he'll be able to lead the dance and beat Sabatini everywhere and control this fight and beat Sabatini to a decision. So in this one, I have Rafael Alves via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, Sergey Spivak versus Jared Vanderaa. So looking at Vanderaa, I'm not really all that impressed by him. He has a weird frame. He's 6'3", 6'4", and still got a little soggy, slobby body. He has a little jab. He kind of slings out there and then a wide check hook. And grappling isn't the best. Got some little weak kicks here and there. But, he's not a bad fighter, but I don't think he's all that UFC caliber. I think Spivak could beat him in every area. Much better boxing, much cleaner technique. And Spivak has been ever improving on his grappling. I think he could take this fight to the ground if he wants to, but I really think that Spivak can just beat him in every area in this one. I don't think he puts Vanderaa out, but I do think he just, like I said, beats him in every area of this fight and beats him everywhere this fight needs to go. I think he outboxes him, busts him up, mixing some takedowns, control him, and beats him to a decision. So in this one, I got Sergey Spivak via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the bantamweight division, Ayman Zahabi versus Draco Rodriguez. So Zahabi is kind of a bit of a disappointment. A bit of a disappointment given who his brother is, Faraz Zahabi. You would think that this would be our best chance at seeing what Faraz would look like if he did do MMA, given that he trains so many people and he kind of presents himself as such a great fighter or such a great coach or such a great martial artist. You would think like maybe this guy can be even half of as good as Faraz Zahabi seems to appear to be. But it hasn't really been shown the case. But he's a clean technical fighter, some clean boxing, not really the best head move or the best power, and not the best chin. Decent BJJ. We haven't seen most of it yet. We might be able to see if he sticks around in UFC maybe, but not all too impressed with what I've seen from Zahabi. I think it's one Draco Rodriguez has a bit of a boxing background. He'll have the heavier hands, the cleaner hands, the faster, more fluid boxing and strikes as far as the hands go. Rodriguez is no slouch in grappling. He has good takedown defense. I think he has the wrestling edge in this one. So I think he has the edge in whether this fight goes to the ground or not. And I feel like he's going to be able to keep this fight on the feet, stuff Zahabi's takedowns, and really be able to tag Zahabi up on the feet. And I think the power and the clean boxing technique is going to be an issue for Zahabi. He's not going to really be able to withstand the power of Rodriguez and going to have issues dealing with that boxing, dealing with that power, dealing with that pressure. And I think he puts Zahabi out in the second round. So in this one, I have Draco Rodriguez via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, Chad Skelly versus Jamal Emmers. So in this fight, Chad Skelly is actually taller, which is a little bit surprising to me. He doesn't look that tall, but he's 5'11" versus the 5'10" Jamal Emmers. But despite that being said, Chad Skelly has not been the most active fighter. And it's not like his height was going to be that, he's not a fighter that's such a clean technical striker or such a long reach that he knows how to use it so well or coming from an extensive striking background. His striking is anything but super pretty. It's odd, but he makes it work, basically. His whole skill set is odd, but he makes it work. His jiu-jitsu is no joke, but altogether his whole game, his whole style is odd, but he makes it work. The way he looks, odd. The way he's built, odd. The way he fights, odd, but he makes it work. And very dangerous guy. Don't play with this man. That guy is dangerous. But Chad Skelly, like I said, I'm gonna lean to that. I'm not gonna lean. I'm gonna mention the inactivity of Skelly. I think it was like on the last 3 fights, he got a win I forget who he's got to win over. I'm not going to try to remember names right now. It was before that was a no contest, but it was actually a submission loss, first round submission loss to Bobby Moffett. And then Friday he fought Jason Knight. And even you look at his last fight was in 2019. And then I think his prior fight was like 2018 or 17. Then his fight before that was like in 2016 or 17. So he hasn't really been the most active fighter over these past couple years. Like 3 fights in like, 3 or 4 years? So hasn't been the most active fighter and hasn't fought in over a year. So didn't fight at all in 2020. Then look at Jamal Emmers, not even looking at the so factoring inactivity and fact that Jamal Emmers has solid jiu-jitsu as well. I'll probably give Skelly a lean on the jiu-jitsu, but I think Emmers has enough to at least deal with Skelly's awkwardness and deal with Skelly's grappling, keep his fight on the feet. And I think Emmers is the much cleaner, more technical striker. Yes, you got to respect Skelly's striking. I think Emmers will, but I think he's going to stay calm and composed and not let Skelly catch anything wild and just be cleaner, stick behind his jab, stick behind his teeps, and really just be the more cleaner technical striker out there. I think he outboxes and outstrikes Skelly and able to cut off the or keep the grappling to a minimum or keep it to where he can have an edge or manage it and then use his striking advantage to outstrike Skelly in this one. Be fresher, be more active, be the younger fighter, and strike to a decision. So in this one, I have Jamal Emmers via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's bantamweight division or flyweight division. Yeah, flyweight division. Shayna Dobson versus Casey O'Neill. So looking at this one, I think Dobson has a real good chance in this one. Casey O'Neill, even like when I look at her record, look at how she presents herself, look at that little smug face she put on, like she's such this talented, technical, I got it fighter. And even when she says in interviews like, I'm gonna beat her anyway, I'm gonna finish her and et cetera, et cetera. Like I look at that and I'm like, oh, she looks like she a problem. Then when I look at her fight, I like she got some problems of herself. Like she got some problems she needs to fix in her game because the fight trained at Tiger Muay Thai, when you see a lot of these Tiger Muay Thai fighters come out, their striking looks so clean and so technical and they look so sharp. In her fights, she has not looked clean or sharp or that technical in her fighting. Like she comes out there, I mean, at times she does a little bit, but mostly I see her come in, head up, throwing these punches, like crashing into the clinch, and always open to hooks, overhands, like she's open for a lot of stuff. Just open over the top, open around the side, like just come in. And I see him get tagged. She's just lucky that the fighter she was fighting had pillow hands just like her. Like she fought a woman that really had some oomph behind her striking or had some technique or anything, or like I said, whether they have some punching power or some technique or a combination of both, they would knock her clean out the way she be coming in on these opponents. When I look at Casey O'Neill, she's a grappler pretending to sometimes be a striker, but she still knows that she's more of a grappler than a striker because her striking needs a lot of work, needs a lot of polishing. And she's in the right place, but hopefully over time it gets up. But if she is now, a lot of women going to do her dirty in the sport. But right now, her grappling's solid, but that striking needs something to come along. I think Dobson could catch her, but I'm leaning to the more well-rounded fighter in O'Neill to mix it up. And then like Dobson has such a high rate of knockout. She's 4-4, and I think only one of those wins are definitely not all of her wins have come out knockout. Well, she got 2 but it was more so her last win via TKO was via the woman really gassing out and didn't working on her. Like she really started attacking, like took advantage of a tired opponent. It wasn't because of her power. Like she just hit so hard that her opponent went out. It was like her opponent got fatigued and she just took advantage. She only had like one real true knockout win on her 4-4 record. So she's not a super heavy-handed knockout artist. She got heavy hands, but she's not like a Rumble Johnson or Dotson or Melvin Gillard or Amanda Nunes or I don't know, a Cyborg. Any one person with power. She's not really a notable power puncher, but O'Neill was open. I think Dawson probably be the hardest hitting person she ever fought as far as her MMA career. But I think Casey O'Neill has the more well-rounded fighter. I'm going to lean to her being the more well-rounded to mix it up, take it to the ground, be able to push the pace for more than 3 rounds, for the full distance if needed. But I think she's going to mix it up, take her down, control her, wear her down, and then rinse, repeat, take her down, wear her down, and then tap her out in the second round. So in this fight, I have Casey O'Neill via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, Julian Erosa versus Nate Landwehr. So look at this one right here. Nate Landwehr has a good style. He could definitely be a problem for a lot of fighters in MMA because a lot of fighters that are, could be one-dimensional or they could just be really grapplers but don't have the best striking, but they get by on it. And like a guy like Landwehr, he can defend their takedowns. He has good takedown. He has a good wrestling background. He has good scramble ability. He has good takedown defense, good takedown offense. Not the best striking defense, but he can outwork you. He's tough, and he is a fighter. And he's a problem for a lot of people. But I think stylistically wise against Julian Rosa, Rosa will be the taller fighter. I think he's a much cleaner striker. They both have issues with their striking defense, but Landwehr almost has zero defense as far as striking. He's hittable, he's punchable, and I think that's gonna be an issue. He's gonna deal with a longer, more technical striker, a much better boxer, and it's not gonna be moving that head. And he was getting pieced up by Darren Elkins. Whoever says they got pieced up by Darren Elkins in striking, very few people. And he was one of them, but he was able to just outwork Darren Elkins in that one. He didn't really out technique him. He wasn't the cleaner striker. He just outworked him. He was a workman and was able to bust him open. That was a big factor. By cutting him open, he was able to steal a decision. And even like with the cut, he was still getting outstruck by Elkins. But either way, I think Rosa has some good, solid wrestling, defense, and offense in grappling. And Landwehr's not really known for being an offensive wrestler anyway. And I don't think he'll have the most success with it anyway in this fight. So I see it as a striking match. And Rosa, to me, is just a much cleaner striker. And Landwehr is very hittable. And Rosa's going to hit him. He's going to touch that chin. And I think he's going to put him out in the second round. Well, I'm going to say third round early. So in this fight, I have Julian and Rosa via third round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, Eddie Wineland versus John Castaneda. So I'm really looking at this one. I think Castaneda already kind of just said what he's going to do. He already knows who he is. I guess at this moment in his career, he's a realist. And he said he's going to go out there and beat Eddie Wineland, but I'll work him. So he's saying, obviously, I'm not this amazing grappler and go out there and wrestle him and submit him or take him down and grapple him and be amazing at that. I'm not this amazing striker. I'm going to knock him out. And I'm the better striker. I'm the better this. I'm the better that. He said, I'm going to outwork him. So what that basically says is, this fighter is better than me, but I'm going to outwork him. Like, he's got more experience, he's this, he's that, and all this, but I can outwork him. And that's smart, and that's reality what I see. But when I look at Castaneda, he's talking about outworking somebody. When I look at his last fight, his work rate might look semi-impressive looking at the fight, but statistically wise, he got outstruck. I think he got outstruck by a double. Like, he got lapped in the striking total. So he looked like he was doing a lot, but he was doing very little and wasn't having very much success in that fight. He showed a lot of heart, and you would get more credit because you're getting pieced up, but you're sticking in there. That's the credit you're getting, but that's not the type of credit you want to be getting. You want to say, like, at least be down by at most 20 strikes. I mean, you're still in there. You're making it look like it's closer than it is, but he was just getting picked apart for the most part in that fight. He had like very slim moments, but got lapped. So now I'm not saying Eddie Wineland's this and Eddie Wineland's that, but I think Eddie Wineland's the better striker. He has good takedown defense. And he's a cleaner technical striker. He has his striking issues as well, but I think Eddie Wineland can outstrike Castaneda. I'm not impressed with Castaneda's output on work rate. So I don't really see like his path to victory. So I think Eddie Wineland will be the cleaner striker. He'll be the Atlanta heavier-handed striker, and he can stuff the takedowns and really keep Castaneda where he wants him, keep him right in front of him, and keep walking him to his power, land the heavy shots. I don't think he put Castaneda away, but I think he might get a drop or two in this one and be able to beat Castaneda in a very close decision. So in this one, I have Eddie Wineland via decision. So now on to our next prelim fight, our prelim co-headliner, we have Klose versus Louis Pena. So we got Crazy Bob Ross, Bob Ross, and Louis Pena. A fighter who's like, he has the frame, he has the image, he has the gag, he has the skills to pay the bills, but hasn't been proven to be the best winner. He did not win the Ultimate Fighter. It was a favorite or one of the more people that you might thought had a better chance to win the show. It probably did a lot for him if he wanted. It's like he had the skills and everything he needed. And then he went after the show, he did the right move, went to AKA, like this guy is doing the right stuff, but he still kind of struggles to, stay consistent with his wins. Still a young guy, but struggling to, stay consistent and losing fights he should win out there. But really looking at this fight, Louis Pena versus Klose. How I see this one, I really lean to that. Louis Pena just has proven not to really be a great winner out there. I think he has good skills. He has some solid wrestling, some working on that BJJ as well. Even though he got submitted by Karma Worthy, and he was supposed to be the better grappler in that one. So you got to think about that as well. He has the length in this one as he has in most fights. He has some pretty solid boxing, good kicks as well. But wrestling defense, at first I would say he had some good wrestling defense, was good around, but as we saw against Rolla was able to take him down with like 7 times. So maybe his wrestling isn't all that. And I think Klose is not a fighter that's going to be so amazing with his striking or so amazing with his grappling or anything. He's a fighter that he's not super impressive anywhere, but he has a good mind for fighting. He has good distance control. He has the small things that make fighters win. He has those traits about him. Like, he knows how to win these fights. And he knows how to control range. He knows the pace. He knows the tempo. He knows how to score points. He knows how to win. And that's something that Pena is missing. And also, Klose has some underrated wrestling as well. So I feel like he could win a wrestling battle on this one. I feel like he can pick and choose at times when, to engage. And like I said, where Pena seems to not really have that edge to him yet, or don't have those things to him. I feel like Klose can exploit those, mixing takedowns, mixing control time, make the fight slow when he wants to, slow the fight down when he wants to, speed it up when he wants to, and really have Luis Pena fighting a points fight that he is going to be behind in. Like, he's going to be behind getting takedowns. Klose going to be taking him down, controlling him, kicking his leg out, moving, and now being an easy target for Pena, while Klose is going to be scoring all the, the crucial point, like with the takedowns and with the strike total. It might not be a high-paced fight, or it might not be a high-landing fight, but Klose is going to have the edge by maybe 5 to 10 strikes, score some takedowns, and that's going to be enough for him to get by decision. It's not going to be like an amazing knockout performance for him, or some amazing submission performance, or no amazing clean performance, but it'll be a performance where he's making the better decisions, and he's using his skill set better and beating Pena to a decision. So in this one, I have Jakar Klose via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, in our prelim headliner, Jared Gordon versus Danny Chavez. So I'm looking at this one, Gordon versus Chavez. I think Gordon's an amazing fighter, or a solid fighter, but good around the skill set, good wrestling, good striking. Not the best chin, not the best luck as far as going up, trying to, start a streak. But one thing I can say about as far as the UFC career, he has not lost a fight, via his work rate. It's been, or being outworked. He's always lost to being stopped. So he's an issue for anybody that can't put him away. Because he'll put up like 300 strikes a fight, like 10 takedown attempts a fight. So this guy is a workman, and he will work for as long as that fight, clock is ticking, he will be fighting. Or ticking down, clocking down, he will be fighting. And he'll be putting up a huge work rate. And that's the issue for Chavez. I saw in his last fight against Brown. He was destroying Brown, but Brown, even on one leg, just by just gritting it out and trying to make a fight, he was able to steal the third round and had Chavez breathing heavily. And that was a guy that Chavez literally chopped down and had on one leg. So Gordon, if he can push the pace and force Chavez to fight and be able to, weather the storm, he has a very good shot of winning this one, especially if Chavez isn't able to put him out. But in this one, I think Chavez, as far as technique-wise, he's a better striker, the faster striker, the harder hitting striker. I think he's a better offensive wrestler, the better defensive wrestler. And I think he has the better tools with Gordon's wide stance and his aggressiveness. I think he'll be open for Chavez leg kicks, which is going to take away a lot of his power, a lot of his forward movement. And that's going to allow him to fall right into the check hook that Chavez has. And I think Chavez puts him out in the second round. Like I said, Gordon could make this a very tough fight, but I think Chavez has the skills that could factor in this fight that will allow him to get the stoppage over Gordon in the second round. So in this fight, I have Danny Chavez via second round TKO. Now to our, I know that one's our prelim. This is actually our prelim headliner. So in our actual prelim headliner, we have in the heavyweight division, Andre the Pitbull Arlovski versus Tom Aspinall. So I'm looking at this one, I'll make it cut and dry, quick to the point. Not gonna say southpaw this, or this, whatever the case that may be, but it is what it is, and this is what this prediction is gonna be. I think Andre Arlovski is a solid fighter, despite being so far into his career and still holding up, still beating some of these younger guys. But saying last fight against Boser kind of had a similar style, or at least a similar type of thing where he would, invite people to chess matches. So that allows for, a point fighting fight where it's not really a lot of heavy bombs being thrown, trying to knock people out, or trying to, enforce the finish on nobody per se. So he wasn't as aggressive as he needed to be against Arlovski, which gave Arlovski an opportunity to use his experience and use his technique to get by on the decision over Bosa. But Aspinall, he's not a sloppy fighter. He's not a guy that is swinging for headshots or nothing like that. He's clean. He's technically sharp, and but he is looking to put that bomb on your chin and put you to sleep. That's what Aspinall is looking for, and he has solid grappling as well. So I feel like Arlovski wanted an easy decision. That's not going to be there for him. So this fight going to be standing, where Aspinall will want it. He might even try to mix it to the ground he might even try to do it himself, take it to the ground. But what I really see in this fight is that Aspinall's sharp, he's clean, he has heavy hands, and Arlovski's chin is not going to hold up. He'll be there in the fight, but once Aspinall is able to find that range, find that distance, and find his chin, he's going to find it repeatedly or just that once, and Arlovski's going to be put out, and I think it's in the first round. Like, Aspinall is too clean, hands too heavy, fast, young. Arlovski old, and chin has never really been the best anyway. And this fight is stylistically pans out for him to get put out in the first round. So in this fight, I got Tom Aspinall via first round TKO. Now to our main card. So in our first fight on the main card, we have in the middleweight division, Nasruddin Imavov versus Phil Hall. So looking at this one, Nasruddin Imavov has a real good well-rounded skill set and probably overall the better fighter overall, but I did not like his striking defense at all. He was tagged way too many times, hurt way too many times versus fighter who's still a very budding striker. And Phil Hall's has really started to improve his striking game. I worry about his cardio, but I'm more so worried about Imavov's striking defense. I think with Phil Hall's improvements to his striking, I think he'll be able to find the chin of Imavov and put him out within that first round. Well, yeah, within that first round, when Imavov gives his chin to him, I think Phil Hall is able to find the target, find his range, come over the top of the bomb, and then finish him up in that first round. So in this fight, I have Phil Hall's via first round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the heavyweight division, Alexei Oleinik versus Chris Daukaus. So heavyweight division, Oleinik versus Daukaus, youth versus age before beauty, however you want to say it. Oleinik has been around the game. He's 10 years older, has 59 wins, 14 losses, 1 draw. Daukaus is 10-3 and 0 draws. So Oleinik been around. He's been on a lot of stuff. He has an interesting style, definitely some top-notch submission skills, striking awkward, but he makes it work for him. But I see this one. I think Oleinik, like, he definitely could be a dangerous opponent for Daukaus, but I think at this point, Oleinik, he's coming off a couple knockout losses. I mean, he might have got a win in between there, but he's been knocked out a couple times in the UFC. Suffered some bad losses, definitely like 2 flying knee losses, one to Walt Harris and one coming off freshly off one to Derek Lewis. So he's been some damage has been put on him. Already up there in age, coming to the UFC. He's only getting older and coming off a knockout loss, and not a nice, pleasant one at all. So, and at the heavyweight division, so not really coming in the best spot. Whereas Daukaus, he's coming off 2 knockout victories. I think both in the first round, and he's really come to his game. You can look at his loss and say, oh, he got submitted before, oh, he got knocked before, and Oleinik is better than those guys. But you got to realize with these young people, they're getting better. Whereas they might be getting better by small margins, or adjusting, or, getting, working on that fight IQ, working on this and working that. But these young fighters, it's not just the case, oh, Daukaus just hasn't fought the people that could beat him, or hasn't fought the same level of people that beat him, or something like that. It's more so a case of Daukaus, a young fighter. He's really starting to get his, he's getting better. He's starting to find himself and, evolve. Whereas Oleinik, you're not really going to see much evolution, and could get to the point. Oleinik is too hittable. He's worn down. Daukaus is longer, younger, faster, striking real sharp, real crisp, and he's not really a slouch in the grappling either. And I think he can stuff the takedowns of Oleinik, really avoid that for the most part, not even try to play that with him. In this, be the faster, longer fighter and just chew Oleinik on the feet. He's not going to be that hard to hit. Just had to avoid the windmills and then pick him apart and put him out in the first round. I think he does that. So in this fight, I have Chris Daukaus via first round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the featherweight division, Darrick Minner versus Charles Rosa. And how I see this one right here, Darrick Minner has some very annoying, very tough, very irritating grappler. Like, you don't really want to play with him in the grappling. Gonna try to go for that guillotine all day, 100 times a day. So you really want to be dealing with him on the ground. But if you do have to deal on the ground, you had to deal with him on the ground. But Charles Rosa does not have to deal on the ground. And Charles Rosa, even though you might not really recognize him in this high-level BJJ black belt or this grappler, he is a BJJ black belt. He is skilled in the ground, hard to deal with on the ground. I'm not saying he's like the best guy on the ground or not, but he definitely savvy enough to, if it goes to the ground, be able to handle himself with Minner on the ground, whether it be neutralizing submissions, attempting his own submissions, or scrambling. Anything he has to deal with Minner on the ground, he can do that. And on the feet, Minner really is not a big threat on the feet at all. And Charles Rosa can be annoying for, you're not the greatest striker. Charles Rosa could be a very annoying striker for you to face with that karate style, that hybrid karate style, that kind of point fighting style. They like to do like little slapping non-effective kicks and piling up points and being a hard target to find. I just see that being the case. Like I said, Minner is not the best striker. Technically, power, athleticism, in no type of way is he some amazing striker. Not in height or reach, in no category whatsoever is he an amazing striker. I mean, he can hold his own in the striking, but Charles Rosa should be the better striker in every single facet and should be able to defend the takedown, address the grappling, and really just outpoint Minner relatively easy in this one and beat him to a decision. So in this one, I have Charles Rosa via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in our co-main event, in the women's bantamweight division, Ketlen Vieira versus Yana Kunitskaya. Now I see this one right here. Kunitskaya, she's long in a way. She's got these pillow hands that could put you sleeping the wrong way. She's not gonna knock you out, but you're gonna be so bored of. I mean, you're gonna be so unbothered by his punches. You're gonna think you're getting a lullaby read to you because her hands are that soft, like super soft hands. Not really a threat on the feet. I mean, she got some semi technique to it, but not the best technique to her striking. Like she can pose at least semblance of an issue on the feet, but not really a threat. Grappling wise, she's a blanket. Really stylistically wise, she's a blanket. And going Caitlin Vieira. Vieira's a bigger, stronger woman. I think she can, with solid grappling of her own. I think she can stuff like I said. She can address the grappling of Kunitskaya. I think Kunitskaya will probably get the edge as far as in the blanket advantage. They're trying to go for control time. But I feel like Vieira's going in this fight. She's going to just really use her grappling in defense and to keep us in striking. Be the heavier striker and land those heavier shots. I don't think she puts Kunitskaya away because Kunitskaya might not have the heaviest hands, but she do got a good chin on her. So I feel like this fight, we're going to get bludgeoned up, bust up in the face. Going to be a sloppy type of decision where Vieira's going to be trying to pillar Kunitskaya off and just land big, heavy shots on her. Kunitskaya's going to be landing those pillows. And Vieira's going to land more shots, land the heavier shots. And the face is going to definitely tell the difference, whereas Kunitskaya going to be busted up and Vieira's going to look like she just went for a brisk jog. Probably a semi-close fight, but clearly Vieira winning via decision. So in this one, I have Caitlin Vieira via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the heavyweight division, Curtis Razor Blaydes versus Derek Lewis. So I'm looking at this one, even though this is the main event, it could be a very short prediction. Like Lewis, I mean, he's unpredictable. He's sneakingly technical. He's sneakingly smart. He might act like a dummy. He might say his little one-liners and this and that. And try to just like, oh, this is a guy that just like, he just come in there, he kind of he trains hard enough by his standards, and he got knockout power, and that's all there is to him. But it's a little bit of an intelligence. I mean, it's a good bit of intelligence there. You don't just get to this level just by being lucky or being having heavy hands and stuff. I mean, it gets you far, but it's not going to get you around and stick you around as long because he kind of plays, like they plays possum out there a little bit, plays dumb a little bit, and then he be finding his range, and people get lax out there, then he waits and engages when they get lax, and all it takes is your hands down, your chin up. Are you all focused? And then he's still on focus, and he finds that power. And he got power through 5 rounds, so that's an issue. And that could be an issue for Blaydes, because Blaydes, despite being this great of a wrestler and all this and all that, for some reason his jiu-jitsu was really not that great. Like if jiu-jitsu was that great, he should have been in submit Volkov or something. Like he had Volkov curled up for like 3 rounds back there to be taken, but his jiu-jitsu was just not that good. Like it was any bit of a decent jiu-jitsu, they would have took his back, pounded him out, flattened him out, and tapped him out. But Blaydes, for some reason, like he didn't even go for the hit, like he didn't go for the hooks or nothing. Like, so when you leave a guy like Lewis a chance to get back and fight, and you get lax, or like say you get tired, like he got tired against Volkov in like the 4th and 5th round. Say you get that with Lewis, you're not gonna be with a saw puncher like Volkov. You're gonna be a guy that you can't afford to get hit by a clean punch against. And Blaydes does got a decent chin, but you don't want to be playing with or gambling with your chin against Lewis when that's really all he's looking for. But to get to the point outside of that, Lewis, even though he's been trying to trim weight, trying to do this and trying to do that, he's still beginning to take him down way too much. And he gets taken down by literally every single person he fights, almost. Probably like out of all his opponents, 90% of them have taken him down. And like 80% of them have held him down for way more than they should have, like minutes, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And then he kind of rallies at the end of rounds and does just enough to either get a decision or comes back for that Hail Mary knockout. And going against Blaydes, this is by far the best wrestler he's ever fought. So he's undoubtedly going to be on his back, getting pounded, getting ground and pound, and getting worn on. And I think it's a fight where Lewis might have his one moment in the fight, but Blaydes mostly just taking him down, suplexing him, double leg, power bombing him, and ground and pounding him and wearing on him. And also, Lewis is not like a guy that's going to make you tired because he's not going to be trying to slow back up or work back to his feet. He's not going to put up a whole bunch of volume out there. He's going to look for 1 or 2 punches, maybe a jump and switch kick like 5 of those or something, but not a high rate output type of guy. So Blaydes should be there, lay on him pretty easily and wear on him. And Lewis is going to be the one getting worn down and tired, having to carry Blaydes' weight, having to get thrown down, getting punched in the face. So by the 3rd round, Lewis is going to be heaving and hoving. And then, Blaydes is going to keep coming and just land ground and pound to the ref pull him. It's not going to be no brutal ground and pound. It's probably going to look like some real soft pillow ground. It's like, Blaydes do got some good ground and pound, but it's not going to be like, oh, he knocked him out type ground and pound. It's going to be like the ref just stopped him because Lewis wasn't intelligently defending himself. And I got Blaydes stopping Lewis in the 3rd round. So in this fight, I have Curtis Blaydes via 3rd round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of UFC Fight Night, Blaydes versus Lewis. And as always, thanks for watching.